Okay, guys, it is November 3rd, 2023. And honestly, I've had kind of a traumatic week with my mother. I just need to do some catching up, kind of prepare for next week, and I was going to do that live with everybody. Um, it's kind of a boring process, but you need to know how to do it and what I do and what people do to kind of get ready. So, thoughts on DKNG. Here, this is a great example. Luke, I can't even tell you. What did they do on their earnings? I haven't even looked at their earnings. Didn't they report yesterday? Yeah, looks like they did well. I have to. So here, I'll start with this. One of the things that I do is I need to come in here and I don't know if anybody uses Benzinga, but I use Benzinga. And I'll come in here. I'm actually going to maximize this. I don't know if you're going to be able to read it, but I'll tell you what I'm doing. So I've got all these tabs up here at the top, right? Analyst rating monitor. I can come in here and I can say, what have the analysts done today? Let me see the upgrades, the downgrades. Okay. And then I've got an earnings one as well, so that I can kind of dig into the earnings and see. Let's go this week. All right. So here is the. Sorry guys, I have to have my phone on noise because if my mom, I've got a camera on her that alerts me when she moves. So I apologize if there's dings and beeps and all that kind of stuff, but I just have to make sure my mother's not getting up and moving around. For those that don't know, she took a really bad fall and hit her head. It was horrific. Okay. So now after I come in here, and this is the one that I really want to focus on right here, right? Calendar earnings. So what I want to do is I'm going to go by and I'm going to look at these and I'm going to sort them in very different ways, right? So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to sort at market cap. I want to see what the big dogs have done, right? I want to see, hey, who's the biggest company that reported this week? Anybody tell me? Who's the biggest company that reported this week? It should be right on the tip of your tongue, right? We all know who they are. Who was it? Yeah, it's Apple, right? They're the biggest company in the world, right? So Apple, they're a big deal. And so we look at Apple, and what we need to do is we need to say, okay, well, let's check out Apple. We need to dig into Apple's earnings. So has anybody dug into Apple's earnings? How'd they do? So I can come over here and I can click on Apple, right? And I can come and check the news tab or bring another news tab over here and I can click on Apple. And this is going to have all the, hey, Wedbush reiterates outperforming on Apple, 240, Apple S&P Global and this aerospace journal. No, that doesn't matter. How to earn. That doesn't matter. Morgan Stanley reiterates overweight on Apple. Apple shares are trading lower. We know that. Why is the shares trading higher? Okay, great. Okay, Apple strikes all-time revenue record in India. CEO team. Yeah, India is huge. Okay, so that's interesting. Obviously, India retail shares are doing better. So India is a huge market, guys. If you want to play an emerging market, I think India would be the one to play. CEO pulled down by weak Mac and iPad sales. Okay, so weak. So what I'm going to do with every single company, and I'm just giving you an example here, we're not going to do it all live, it would take too long, is I'm going to come in and I'm going to look at these earnings reports and, if it looks like everything was solid. So the question for me is why did they go down the price, right? So, they beat, did they lower guide? Is that what they did? So I have something, I call it a plus, right? Or If you beat on your EPS, if you beat on your revenue, and then if you raise guide, that's a plus plus plus. So the way that I take notes is it'll either be a plus 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 or plus plus nothing or plus plus minus, right? So I'll give you an example. AMD was actually a plus plus minus. They actually lowered their guide. So we have to figure out why did AMD rip, right? These are things that we need to learn, we need to know, we need to be able to figure out how come they're doing it, right? So another thing that you can do is if you can't find information, you can come over here, you can just go to FinViz and type in AMD, right? And they're going to have all these news articles down here, and they're going to have people trying to explain what has happened, right? So let's see if I know the reason AMD ripped, but I want to see if anybody's here. Let's see what Motley Fool says here. The company were largely in line, but was really coming down. They got chips in my that left the chest. Another week. All right. This is old. No, it's not finished. We're not done with the week. How are they telling us that they're done with the week? Oh, okay. I read it wrong. My bad. AMD has been scheduled. We're shipping CPU every time. It's all about one thing, the MI300. So the MI300 is AMD's new artificial intelligence accelerator, which investors hope will become a worthy alternative to NVIDIA. While AMD's guidance actually came in lower than expected, positive commentary on the MI300 was enough to catapult the stock higher through the week. So you can come in here, like, you don't have to be the one digging through every single piece of information from the earnings report, and you can say, hey, somebody do the hard work for me and let me just read about it, right? Here, I'm going to move this chat over here on the side screen so I can see it. And again, this is, there we go. So again, all I did was I went to FinViz, right? So I came over here to FinViz and I said, hey, let's just look. I thought AMD was a plus plus minus. Why are they ripping? Well, you can come in here and you can say, what's going on, right? Why is this happening? And you see, right, I don't know if you can even read it because it's so tiny on the screen, but it says right here, why advanced micro devices surged nearly 12% this week, right? And so then you click on that and you read the article, and Motley Fool's telling you it's M1300, right? That's their take. They think that's the reason. And you can go back and you can actually verify this stuff too if you're a dork like me. And you can come in here and you can say, hey, AMD, I'm going to throw on after hours. Okay, now we're showing extended hours on my chart here in the center. I know it's tiny, you're not going to be able to see it. But what I want to show you is the drop. When did we pop back up, right? When did we, after AMD dropped, when did we pop back up? And you can see, well, I don't know if you can see, it's so tiny. It was at 1705. 1700 to 1705 to 1710, right? Well, what were they talking about? You could literally go back and look at the conference call if you wanted to. You could go back and get the transcript and say what was going on during this period to verify, right? So anyway, the point being is you just need to be able to figure out what's actually moving it so you can figure out if it's legit or if it's stupid, right? Or if it's an overreaction or whatever. Okay, let me catch up on questions here. So Nate's going to miss the afternoon session. What time does he normally come on? 1? So it's 11, 12. Yeah, I can't come on at 1, but if you guys want, I always check back in at the end of the day to go through, to kind of start setting up my watch list. Maybe I can come back on when the market's closing. Yeah, maybe I can do that with you guys. Kind of cover that a little bit later. How do I? Yeah, go over the grading. Okay, so here, let me pull up my. Okay, everybody has access to this worksheet. Okay, this worksheet is what I use for earnings. Okay, this has all the information that I want to keep track of on it. And so when I come to this home tab, I'll come in here and I'll put things like Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon. And what I'll do is I'll put in your earnings per share, your revenue estimate, and your guide. And so if they beat on EPS, right? EPS, that's a plus, right? If they miss, then it would become a minus. If they're in line, then it's nothing. There's literally nothing there. I don't put anything. And then if we get a beat on revenue, EPS revenue, right? Same thing, plus or minus. So it'd be like plus. So this is like AMDs, right? And then guide. And which one of these do you think is the most important? Do you guys think EPS, rev, or guide is the most important? What do you think? Yeah, it is. It's guide. Now, there's always exceptions to the rule. I remember when Tesla recorded its first profitable quarter, right? Everybody was freaking jumping on the bandwagon then, right? And so, sometimes EPS and rev and stuff will outdo guide, but usually when that happens, guide is great. So rarely does it happen when guide is not good when EPS, well, I shouldn't say that. Anyway, that's the whole point. Yeah, so revenue, guide, so it would be plus, so AMD's was plus minus. That doesn't equal a chart that's blasting through, right? That equals a chart that's more like, did Apple lower its guide? Do you guys have any idea if Apple lowered their guide? I don't know. I haven't read them yet. So here, let's just do it real quick. Let's just go to FinViz. We'll throw in Apple, and we'll see what they're saying. Did Apple lower its guide? Apple slides after giving this outlook. Let's read that. Average. I'm guessing Apple lowered its guide, but I don't know. Just looking at the chart this morning, right? Aren't they down? Right? Yeah, so they dropped. So I'm guessing earnings report helping blah blah blah. Great. When jobs are great. So yeah, that jobs number was great this morning. Meanwhile, I'll slow down. Good also. Okay. Apple stock slid up, took down beats, sales, but revenue fell for the fourth. Okay, so it's just 4 quarters in a row, and flat sales for the quarter. Yeah. Okay. Oh, look, here's a great summary of some other ones. So I'm going to read these two. Okay, so DKNG rallied more than 6% online sports from smaller third quarter loss, higher sales than expected. So what that means is it's a plus right now. The company raised, so it's a plus, right? So this first paragraph tells me DraftKings is a plus. So immediately what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go DKNG. I want to add DKNG. Here, we're going to create a new watch list, right? We're just going to create a new list. We're going to call it, what is it? Quarter 3? I'm going to call it November 3rd. November 3rd I'm going to call it good ER/news. So I can actually throw in news plays as well if in between earnings reports. Give me one sec, guys. What you need, babe?
Nothing, just ignore me.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to throw DKNG into that because these are things that I want to watch. So you know how Nate has the profit surge, right? He finds a company that has done good, and he wants to keep an eye on it, right? Maybe over the next quarter, it's gonna push up and through. And DKNG is on that list now of what I'm going to be watching. Okay, so DKNG for sure. Yelp stock gapped up on the platform, beat on its third quarter sales. Yelp. So on this one, this is what I do. I just go through all the earnings. I just can't play Yelp, guys. For me, it's like, no, I'm not going to touch it. But saying they had good earnings. Carvana soared. Ooh, nice. So Carvana soared more than 6% after the online retailer reported higher than expected quarterly earnings, but missed on sales estimates. Okay, so quarterly revenue dropped. So we need to do a little bit digging into Carvana. So I'm gonna, again, this leads me all over the place, right? And it's there's a method to the madness, but I gotta jump to Carvana now because this actually deals with a long term that I'm in, which is CPS, right? Cooper Standards. And so what I want to do is I want to see what Carvana reported so that I can kind of compare with what Cooper's reporting. Earnings surprise, earnings surprise beat, but this headwind remains. Net incomes, total gross profit increase. So this is huge, right? Gross profit. Okay, so Carvana stocks jumped on earnings surprise. Carvana announced record third quarter results, total profits per unit, net income, and so this is the one I want to read right here. Okay. We have believe one of the largest problem. Okay, good. So the record. Wow. Yeah. Wow, that's good. So, basically 6,000. So yeah, I mean the year-over-year stuff's expected, right? Like they should be doing this. So net income. So they gained 741 million. So what I would like if I was going to be digging into this, I'm not. I'm doing it for a reason. What I would be doing if I was playing Carvana, I would go in and I would see where this net income came from and figure out exactly where their money's coming from because they can play with accounting numbers to fudge this a little bit. Musk used to do it all the time. And the other thing that you would need to do if you're going to be playing Carvana is you would want to check and see how much of their ATM. Let me actually, I bet the guys in my that I trade with in my short run do the same thing. So let me see if I can find that data. Okay. So all I'm doing here is I'm looking for Carvana to see how much of that we use. So yeah, right here. So Carvana ran their ATM for another 100 million late August. Okay. Wow. So they only use. So that's actually surprising to me. Do you guys remember how much that Carvana can use an ATM for? Huh. That's interesting. So they made 100 million, right? So my question is, on this net income, what was 100 million of this from selling shares, right? Probably. I don't know. So I'm not going to put Carvana on that list to watch, but I am going to watch it because it is a high short float name with decent earnings, and they haven't been slamming the ATM. The thing that you would want to remember, though, is if Carvana starts getting back up here into this 45, 46, 47 range, that's where they started slamming the ATM, right? So just kind of like throw that into your head and put that number in your head. And if you have a hard time remembering things, just write it on the chart, right? You just come in here and just say, hey, I'm going to erase all this and just... So here, Carvana used ATM for 100 mil, average $47. There you go. Right. Okay, great. All right. Now that's going to lead me to Cooper Standards as well. So give me one sec. So I am long-term Cooper Standards. I think they are a value play. So they're a plus plus plus. So I haven't, right? This article tells me they're a plus plus plus, right? Good. Okay, so now what I can do is I'll dig into this more when I'm not on the mic with you guys. So, but what they are? Ooh, look at that! Let's freaking go. Nice. So, man, I've already got a 50% move, guys. So my original target was to sell between 19 and 20, but I didn't expect it to do this. I've earned the right to change plans, right? Like, you guys should never do that because you change plans to the wrong side. But I'm gonna hold it. We'll see what it brings. Okay. So here I'm going to add this one to it as well. Copy CPS to the good earnings. And so what I'm doing is I'm literally going to have these on the side, and if we can get some type of squeezes in here, right? Then they become worthy of playing. A lot of these will just retrace back and fill their gaps. They get caught up in the hype of the earnings, and then they just retrace back and fill their gaps. And so, you can't just say, hey, I'm going to buy more and buy more and buy more as we go up. You have to, basically what I do in between each earnings reports is I play technical analysis and human emotion. And that allows me to know what to do. So, for example, like I said yesterday, guys, did I long Apple into earnings? The answer was no. Why? Because the human emotion had put in a good earnings report, and I didn't think Apple was going to have a good earnings report. Like, I didn't think they were going to have a great earnings. I thought it'd be good, but I didn't think it was going to be like stellar. And I longed all these other companies like Amazon. Why was I willing to take Amazon down here? Well, because human emotion had priced in a horrible ER, and I thought it would be at least good, maybe really good, right? And so again, this is understanding human emotion. Okay, great. So CPS. So here's some of my. I won't do this with all of them here. I just kind of want to give you an idea of how I do it and what I do it, what I do. So these are all companies that I am long term in right here. And I'll go through and I'll look at every single one of their earnings reports. I'll see if anything's changed fundamentally that is changing, right? So if let's use Disney for example. I got long Disney, right? And they've had a good report. Everything was great. But I've got a kind of an asterisk on Disney. I don't technically qualify it as a long term yet because there's a battle going on for the board seats right now. There's a couple guys trying to get some board seats. And I don't want to get into the political spectrum here or any of this stuff, so please keep that stuff to yourself. But the bottom line is people don't, or a lot of people don't like what Disney's been doing when it comes to the diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's called DEI. They don't like that. They don't like seeing a Snow White that is not white. They don't like seeing that, whether it's stupid or not, I don't care what you agree with. It doesn't matter to me. What I care about is how much money you can make, right? And so Bob Iger's come in and he's retaking control, and then you've got this. Have you guys seen the South Park episode where they make fun of the lady with that's in charge of the Star Wars, right? So there's all this like political stuff going on with Disney, and I want my companies to make money. I don't want my companies to make political statements, right? If you can make political statements and make money, great, go for it. Say whatever you got to say, do whatever you got to do to make money. That's all I care about. And so if Disney can win over those seats and start to turn its course, I think we've got a double in Disney. I think we're coming back to 160. If they cannot, I'll get out, right? But anyway, so that's kind of, does everybody understand kind of what I do for these long-term plays? Because what happens in between earnings doesn't matter when you're buying value companies. Let me catch up on the chat here. Google had a plus, minus, and guidance about the stock down. Yes, I am recording. Apple, okay. Yeah, exactly. And that was an opportunity, right, Grant? Like again, I don't care what side of the aisle you are on. It doesn't matter to me. I honestly could care less. But Bud got hit, right? But look, it provided an opportunity for anybody that wanted to take a quick, 10% win. But yep, same issues with Target. Yep. Yeah, they are, Hankus. Yep, they did. Yeah, here I'll you guys want me to just type these out here? Can I just? Well, these are, I'm not in here. Let me so the ones that are not highlighted are ones that I am not in yet. I may have gotten in and gotten out, and I'm still looking at them, but I'm not in the ones that are not highlighted. So here, let me put these in order. Let me maybes. And I've got some more maybes too if you guys want those. So here, I'll copy these. And again, guys, just understand, please, if you're following me, if you're I don't know how else to say it. You're not going to be able to trade on another person's conviction. Okay, so here, let me give you an example. Somebody, I forgot who it was. Somebody said, "Man, I should learn. I should follow," because I said, "Hey, guys," on the mic the other day. When was it? Tuesday. On Tuesday, I said, "Guys, I'm getting long GNRC right before earnings, right?" And then it's just ripped, right? We're up. I've got a 30% winner in 3-4 days. Boom. Let's freaking get it, right? Well, somebody was like, "Man, I should learn and I should follow." No. If you're not following, you are learning. Make it your own trade, right? Because I did the exact same thing on Meta. And what happened on Meta? Would you, if you were trading, would you have been able to hold Meta, right? And hold it all the way down to 270, and in fact, see all that red in your face and be like, keep it going. Bring it down to here because I'm going to be adding, right? Like, would you have been able to do that? I doubt it. You probably would have gone too big, trying to get an easy win, right? But for me, this is my conviction. I know what I'm doing. And so as Meta, and the same thing happened with Google, I think these were the main plays that fell. I'm adding on these, right? I got a cost basis down here at 120, right? And I'm adding to these that are dropping dramatically. And if it's not your trade, you're not going to be able to deal with the pain. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's a spiel. You're in 672 Trader Plumber? Nice. Three Pete, can you tell me? I didn't see that. I didn't see that question from Three Pete. I wish I could click on your reply and it would automatically take me right there. Hey, Mark, only have 2 shares. You know, Mark, I can't stress this enough. If you're able to do it with 2 shares, then you can double it up and do it with 4 shares. You'll be at 100 shares pretty quickly. Here, I'll throw out the link for the. Did he need the link? 3 Pete, did you need the link for the psych session? Is that what you needed? I can post that here. Oh, you need the spreadsheet, or okay? So here, that's video 1 on psych. This is video 2 on psych. Okay, so video 1 and video 2, and then every week I share this spreadsheet link in my Monday kind of, hey, the market. But here I'll create a link here. Share. And if I ever forget to change this, sometimes I forget and put can edit. So if I ever forget to can edit, please don't change the sheet because it messes everything up. I usually can remember to just make it view, but trade plum, D-Mana broke over AB. Yeah, so here, that's something else that we got to do, but oh, that's okay, 3 Pete. I appreciate it, brother. Okay, so that's the link. Well, why didn't that link? Why is half of it here? Let me try it again. So, can you guys copy it here? Let me copy that whole thing and put it in and see if it pulls it up. So if you copy that whole thing, even though it's not working to click on, if you just copy that whole link, it will give you this sheet. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on kind of how I'm doing it with earnings? It takes a while, and I'm not going to bore you guys with just doing all the earnings stuff. But any questions on that? Because then I want to jump over and start the next phase. Okay. So again, we'll go. I'll go through all the earnings. I'll find those that I want to watch and what I want to play. I'll dig into the earnings just to see what we've done as an overall group of stocks, like all the S&Ps. See what percentages reported. See what's doing well. Okay, and then the next thing that I do, right? I literally trade everything. I trade every time frame. I need to check just the charts, just the technical analysis of some charts to see how they're setting up, and if I can find companies that have great technical setups combined with great earnings reports, right? Combined with great guidance, like plus. Well, shoot, those are ones that I really want to pay attention to, right? Okay, let's kind of shrink this down, and just jump over to the master watch list. There's going to be. Actually, what I'm going to do first is the November seasonality. So all of these, I shared this yesterday, but in case you didn't get it, this is what I'm watching for November seasonality. Okay. Oh, yeah, that was it, right? I think that's the right one. So all of these I'm watching for November seasonality. So Adobe has a 90% return. 90% positive rate. And so if we jump to a monthly, right, and we're looking at a monthly chart, right, that means we close above 535 90% of the time. Okay, and so we can run through these and we can say, hey, are these setting up for plays? I don't know if you guys remember last week when we were coming down here and I was like, man, I really want to buy Adobe right here. Well, this is why, right? We've missed this move. If you didn't buy it down here at this anchored VWAP area 520, now that it's already made its move, what you have to decide is, and I'm gonna have to do this with a lot of charts. Hey, where do I want to get in, or where can I add to my position? Right. So here, let's just let me throw up Adobe. What I want to do is just find a level that I would say, you know what? If we come into this level, so really, so the first thing I'm going to look at is just all of this. And it looks like 530 is that level, right? Isn't that funny? So it lines up with that. So the quote-unquote best case scenario would be 530 according to this. However, I'm going to scroll out now and I'm going to get a tighter, a closer view on the more recent activity. And what this means is, on a smaller time frame, where could I see a bounce coming? Maybe we don't get that pullback to 530. Looks like 540, right? So it looks like this is kind of set out in $10 increments. You got 550, 540, and 530 on Adobe. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to put an alert right here for the month. See if Adobe can start filling its gap. Okay. 540 should provide support. And when you're filling out your alerts, you always need to put in there the information, right? Because you're not going to remember everything about the chart, right? You just put in there the entire idea and the entire play. So, 540 should provide support. If 540 breaks, 530 is major VP over under level. Okay. Adobe, check. Okay. AMD next. Whew. You guys want to mark up the AMD chart? We got too many lines on this now. We need to kind of clean it up. Okay. So, look at that. We're running right into our anchored VWAP from this pop-up on earnings, right? So this is the main people that I'm going to be trading against. So I need to get in from, I need to look from this day forward, basically, right? So what I'm going to do is just switch to the tightest time frame that I can. Looks like a 30-minute, right? And now I'm going to break this into two different sections for right now. You've got the people above. Well, actually I'm going to do it in three. Here, here, right? And then below. Okay, so let's start with the furthest back. and that would be here. All right, it's like 118's that value area low, and 125. I'm actually gonna move it up a little bit. 126.87. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna try to get a little bit better zoom. Sorry. I'm trying to figure out this upper level. Yeah, it looks like 125. Whether it's where the real VP is on this upper level. So you got what? You got a little bit here at 128, but the majority. Yeah. So all I'm doing is I'm zooming in between the end of May, the beginning of June. I'm zooming into these people to try to figure out where the real resistance is going to come from. And I'm kind of torn between two levels. So what I'm going to do is, I believe 125 is one for sure, right? But I'm also going to put another one up here, and what that's going to do is that's going to allow me to, if we do break 125, what will happen is I'll say we should reject off of this 126.88 level, which will give me an opportunity to buy back over 125. So like I'll sell some into this line going this way. As we hit this level, we will reject, and I will buy some that looking for it to do that. Okay, so I got the upper area figured out. Now I'm going to do the mid area, but I think I can zoom in a little bit closer. So that date, what we need to have here is the end of June. It's 15, bring it in. No. Is there a time frame in between 15 and 30? Let's go to 26 minute. That'll give us the best we can get. All right. So now I'm just going to zoom to this section. The reason AMD is so hard, guys, is there's just been so much sideways consolidation, right? This is your kicker right here. This is everything. What I just highlighted. Can you guys tell me why? Between 110 and 111.59, this is everything. Right now, that's what I'm seeing. It may change as I go forward. But so you break this, you should get a reject off of this, 112, 113 level that allows you to buy back. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm actually going to zoom out, and I'm gonna bring it to a 15-minute chart, which is going to take away these guys over here, right? And the reason I'm going to do that is because I want to see if the more recent price action confirms these older VP levels. So here is the 15, and you can see once we take that out, you can't see those levels anymore. So this is what makes it hard. It's like, man, I need to get, this is when TradingView, anybody that's got TradingView, if you can hear me, if you guys could pick the dates of basically July 20th to August 10th. If you guys could show me that VP on TradingView, I can zoom into this and get it better. But it's just, this is a limitation of TC2000. Man, it's kind of important that I need to see these levels. So for right now, the only thing we can do so that's going to create that. Okay, so here's what needs to start happening with AMD. We have to, like, this isn't a full clean breakthrough, right? We're attempting to, but I actually sold to open calls against my shares up here for like 320, right? So if they get taken from me, I think my average is going to be like somewhere around 112.50. And if they do get taken from me, that means we've broken up into this area, and that means that I can buy them back. I can buy those shares back if we come back into this level. I can only buy in this level if we break up. Now, what I would prefer to have happen is that we reject these levels right now, and that we come back and create what I call the little U, and that will give us an opportunity to buy AMD as we break through those levels. So if that's going to happen, now remember, all I do is if-then statements. So if we break up, I've got to play to get long. If we break down, I've got to play to get long. If we stay in this area, then the only play that I can use then is the TTM squeeze, because that's consolidation, and we're starting to do a high and tight squeeze, and then I can play. So no matter what happens with AMD, I have a way to play it. But what I need to do now is figure out where should that little U pullback come to. So if I'm drawing, call it whatever you want, cup, handle, ascending triangle, I don't care, whatever chart you want to call it, doesn't matter, but that's the psychology of it. We need a little pullback here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to zoom in. Oh, okay, perfect. Hold on, somebody just sent me this. Okay. Here, let me see something here. What's the price on that red line? So it looks like, so this is 110.68. So you basically got that 111. Yeah. Okay. So that's 113. Give me one sec, guys. So on this chart, can you do the exact same thing, but only have it zoomed to that area that I just drew green? Does that make sense? So that's the overall. So what I'm trying to do in doing this, guys, is this is basically saying above 111, we've got room to 113. And then our buy zone on the retest needs to be the bottom area here, right? This being your buy range would be in between here. And what I want to do now is I want to verify where this thick VP is coming from, if it's these guys, or if it changes when we come over here and we look at these people. Because these people are going to have a bigger
these people are going to have a bigger impact on the price, right? So anyway, one of the things I wanted to do with you guys is kind of show you how to do and how I do and what I do through my charts, through all my different strategies and earnings plays. And I hope this is kind of giving you an idea. If I were to do this with you with all the things that I do, we'd be sitting here for hours and hours and hours, because that's what I do. That's literally, this is what I do. And if you guys ever want to join me when doing that, I could care less. We can do it. You know, you guys, maybe we can set up a weekend session one week, and you guys can join me on Saturday or Sunday, and we can just run. You can follow me through all of it. But the idea here is very simple, right? I run through all my edges. I run through my weekly setup to say, hey, are my long terms still good? Are my technical plays, are there any that I can find what I'm going to do? So like on AMD, this is a big technical level. If we crack over, I'm buying. If we pull back, I'm going to find a level down here, and I'll do that before I jump off that we can buy. If we sit and consolidate within this range, then that's going to create a TTM squeeze that we can play, right? So no matter what, guys, I am playing AMD next week, right? Does that make sense? So let's find the lower one. So what's going to be hard about this, guys, is because there's no real support, because we went up so fast. Like, look at this. We've gone from 93 to 110 in 4 days. So where do you guys think the support's going to be? It's going to be on this, long-legged doji candle right here, right? I call these launch candles because a lot of times you get these before you launch again. And so, it's like, it's going to be somewhere in here. All right, so let's see. You can see pretty clearly that the range on the I'm going to highlight these and make them blue. And the reason I'm going to make them blue is because that just lets me know it's a closer time frame, meaning it happened recently, more recent lines. Okay, perfect. Okay, hold on. I just got my guy just sent me this AMD chart. So that's the 113. Yeah. Okay. So this is much clearer, right? Okay. Yeah. This is it. Thank you. Okay. So do you guys? So this makes it much more clearer to me. Do you guys see this right here? This is what I call the upside down VP. We want VP to look like this, right? We don't want it looking like this. So I'm going to be shocked if AMD just goes up and breaks through 113. In fact, if we hit 113 today, I would short it, right? We're going to need to consolidate next week and or pull back. And what's going to need to happen here? Let's save this chart. I'm gonna have my buddy save this chart. His name's Zach. Let's save this chart. Okay, and at the end of next week, let's go back and look at this exact same chart, price range. What I mean by that is the price action that has happened in between these levels for the next week. And what will happen most likely is you're going to get legs. You're going to get people that are buying dips because of the good ER and because of this. And they're going to create the legs that are needed to push us up and through 113. Does this make sense, guys? So, I just don't think that we can get above 113, without resting, creating legs, getting a little pullback, getting out the day traders, stuff like that. I hope this makes sense. So here, let's I'm gonna pin that chart. You guys help me remember to do this, because I think it'd be a good I think it'll help you guys understand the way the market works and trades and people. I think it'd be a good thing for that. Okay, so for me, that level here for AMD for a pullback, if you wanted to try to catch a pullback on AMD, between 105, 106, and 108 is where I would be willing to buy it. Now, just know AMD can easily come down and whip down quickly. It could come all the way back to 100 very quickly because there's just not a lot of people here. If I could wave a magic wand scenario, I would get a buy right here. 103, right? This would be my absorption range. So to continue the if-then scenarios, if AMD pulls back to 105, 106 area, I might buy it at 108, probably not. I will buy it. And if we start to break down these levels, then I'm going to stop out and I'll try again down here. But what I'll tell you is what's most likely going to happen is the first time we hit this general area, we will bounce. And I will absorb and I will take a piece off. And if it rolls over, I'll stop out. That's just usually how I trade, right? And so that's the AMD trade for next week. Okay. Let me catch up on chat real quick, guys. I'll talk to Nate about it, guys. Maybe we can just have a big powwow. Saturday night pizza party or something. Cal, you got IWMs? You got leaps, man? Just be careful, like don't step over $100 bills to pick up $1,000 bills. But I too got into the IWM and the XBI. Give me one sec. Okay. Does anybody have any questions, guys? Kind of how I do stuff, and I do this through everything. And so the other thing that I want to kind of throw in here as well is I'm going to go through the earnings, which is this right here. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna decide, hey, are there any earnings that I want to be playing for next week, right? So like you can come in here and you can go through and you can find charts that run into earnings, right? Like Ulta runs into earnings the 3 days before. Charts that do bad after earnings, like check out SE. We'll see, if their earnings isn't great, then that could be something that we could play as a fade. And so I'll come in here and this is the other kind of edge that I go through. What about SMCI? So they reported and I thought it was good, right? And then they sold off yesterday. Oh wow, what a buying opportunity! Did you buy that dip? This is in my SMCI is in my AI ETF, but I thought their earnings report was pretty good. Actually, I just skimmed over it, but it looked pretty good to me. This SMCI chart the important levels that I have marked right now, I'll have to go back and mark them up over the weekend, but we're right at that over under. We can start breaking above these VWAPs. Do you see these anchored VWAPs? So like here and here, we start breaking above this 270 level. That's going to be a big breakout on SMCI. It's going to be very important. In fact, I'm going to put a little alert in here, just breaking above main POCs, possible breakout. Okay, so anyway, this is just what I do. I go through all my charts. I go through all my stuff. I do it over and over and over again every week. Okay, let me bring this back in. Let's stop the recording.